Welcome back to the Jojitorium. You know who it is. It's Adam. It's Matt. And this podcast has changed its name to Turd Ferguson. Right now, you're sitting in your Sunsplash living room reading the morning news on your Kindle with a nice cup of coffee thinking, wow, I wish I would have gotten tickets for Homebrew and Chill so I can hang out with Bash Brew and the boys. Well, hopefully you're at Homebrew and Chill with us. And if it's still early and you don't have a ticket, you might still be able to get one. But if it's too late for today's event, you can still get your tickets at Drink the Cookie Table. Set to take place on Saturday, November 6, 2021 at 1 p.m. at the wonderful Spirit Hall in Lawrenceville, Pennsylvania. 20 breweries from Pittsburgh and around the nation will be under one roof to bring you incredible dessert beers in two separate sessions. Session 1 comes in at $55 a ticket and it's from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Session 2 is also $55 and from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Both sessions get you a taster glass and unlimited pours. So you can come see the likes of 412, Abjuration, Bash Brew, Cellarworks, Prototype, Tattered Flag, and many more. So head on over to tickettailor.com and search Drink the Cookie Table to get your tickets right now. Just make sure you tell them the boys sent you. So, Adam, we are back in the saddle. How are you today?
Doing good. Keeping busy.
Yes, very much so.
Brewing lots of beer, so
yes.
I'm psyched.
If everyone would quit drinking all of your beer, you wouldn't have to brew so much beer.
No, I keep drinking it. I love beer.
Well, you were just making Joj.
Just did some Jojitorium last night. Did some cucumber last weekend. So we're gearing up for a little wedding and a beer festival in October right now. That's still yet to be announced.
Yeah, so
because I have to make sure it's still going on.
Yeah, but put it on your radars. Put us on your radars somewhere. Mid-October, I think.
Yeah, mid-October.
Yeah.
If it's happening, it's October 16th.
Okay, so just mark it down in your calendars real quick. If you want to come hang out in the nice, crisp fall weather, wear your flannels and your big brimmed hats. You'll match me. That's what I'll be wearing when I'm out there. Again, we're getting prepped up for some cool competitions, and Drink the Cookie Table is kind of next on the list for Bash Brew, unless the October 16th event kicks off. And there might be some other stuff in between, too. I'm not too sure. Some things in the works. So just keep your eyes open and just watch the socials, Decay and Dwtb on all socials, and, of course, Bash_Brew on all socials, and we'll make sure we get you there. So, Adam, you went to something really cool. You went to Barrel and Flow.
I did.
And thank you for that.
And I did not Wow.
Are you drinking now?
I did. Yeah, I had a couple today. I did not black out until I got back home.
Beautiful.
At the after party we had down here in the Jojitorium.
Wonderful.
So it was really nice. It was in a very nice area of the city, nice and spread out. So it was easy to kind of take your time in between beers. Didn't seem rushed. There weren't like long lines for anything. And I had a great time. Had some great beers.
Yeah, I saw some of the posts, and most notably, like Hello Brutiful Pittsburgh. She puts up awesome pictures, so she was able to take some pretty cool shots of how. I mean, that festival really took over.
Yeah,
downtown, which was nice, man. I mean, it's a cool festival. And it does have national recognition. I was reading reports on it from like USA Today and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to see that it's going everywhere. And like I think you said on the last podcast, other nations are trying to figure out how to do the same thing.
Yeah, from what I've heard. Yeah. So it's huge, and it's all originating here in the Berg, which is great. And
it was a success from everything I understand. Ticket sales were great. The vibes were awesome. Things went well.
Really cool vibe. Met some friends of the brewery and the podcast that I hadn't met before or haven't seen in a really long time. It was just a really good day.
And it's wonderful. And the cool thing is that you think a lot like me. And when you go to a place and you say, I like this here. Do I like it at home? You grab beers.
Yeah.
So it's round one. We have beers. Put them together. Call it round one beers. What we got?
So I actually ordered this one in line after tasting it. We have Sweet Delight from Abjuration Brewing Company, friends of the podcast. It is their white stout with peanut butter, honey, vanilla, and milk sugar. And then this was a collab with PBJ Customs, which are some great artists in Pittsburgh, who actually did the label for the beer, anybody that has them. So, yeah, I went the day after a beer fest to go pick these up. gave me a reason to kind of nurse my hangover on Sunday.
Yeah. And I can tell you now, so the album, I almost said album art. I'm showing my age. The can art here is awesome. It is it's like a model. She's wearing some honeycomb, and she's got like a waffle cone around her waist.
I think it's a peanut dress.
Peanut dress?
For the peanut, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Big honey
It's
drip.
like a peanut shell.
Super rich colors all over the can. And, of course, you got the cool barrel and flow emblem on the back. So real quick before we start diving into everything here, make sure you check out and follow Barrel and Flow on all social media because this is going to come back. It's going to be back for 2022, and I will get my ticket for that one. And, of course, friends of the podcast over there at Abjuration. If you want to find out what's going on with them, you just search out Abjuration Brewing, and they're on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, I just saw it today. They started construction on their outdoor patio space. So
Congratulations!
big news for them too. And this was my and my wife's favorite label art of the festival. And I think I don't want to speak for her, but I think it was her favorite beer. I couldn't pick one for a favorite, but this is definitely one of my favorites from the festival.
Yeah, I like this one a lot, man. It says it clocks in with some peanut butter, honey, vanilla, and milk sugar, and I can tell you right now the peanut butter is the main star of this thing. Loving it. We also see some two-row, of course, a lactose in there. There's Madagascar vanilla beans. Yeah, coming in at 5.6. This is nice, man.
Yeah, and it's crazy how much peanut butter I get in the nose and the flavor. Usually I get it one place or the other. This is all throughout. And that honey still comes through, and that sweetness is still there. It's very delicious.
It's all very balanced. I mean, I think they were smart because the peanut butter is the star. Because peanut butter has that unique ability to elevate flavor profiles like vanilla, like honey, and they accompany very well. This is fantastic. I'm glad. Thank you for grabbing this, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm grateful it was only 5.6% because I think it was one of my first 10 beers of the morning. So.
What were some of the other ones you really liked?
Trillium had a great, I think it was a double IPA there. The one our friends at Brew Gentlemen did with Run the Jewels was phenomenal.
Killer Mike, baby.
Yeah, Hitchhiker had a great collab there. Our friends at Burgers had a really cool Dunkel, I believe, with hazelnut in it, which was a really cool lager.
Yeah.
And then Dennis's collab with Our Town was a pineapple hibiscus IPA.
Yeah, that's right.
That was really good. Really cool color, really good flavor. But Revolution Brewing had some killer stuff out there, a really good stout, and the West Coast IPA we had on last week. So yeah, there was no losers in my mind.
What's really cool too is I think because Barrel and Flow I think is a really unique opportunity to showcase black culture, black art, black breweries, black business. And I think it also gives breweries an opportunity to really get experimental with some stuff too. Like you're combining with some artists that bring some really cool ideas to, the table, and you kind of want to match their energy, and they come with that cool, vibrant artsy style. And these beers are all the same way. They're all they all have a twist to them a little bit, but it's awesome. I mean, the couple beers I've had from the Barrel and Flow sample, this one included now, like you said, I haven't had a bad one. Yeah.
Yeah, and 18th Street, who did the collab with Revolution, which is Revolution's a huge Midwest Chicago brewery. They actually had a stand right next to Revolution. So it was you can have the collab and then go see what they do in Indiana.
Oh, that's so cool.
In their black-owned small craft brewery. And they actually, thinking of them, they had a killer barrel-aged stout that was only 5%. It was low ABV, but had all the flavor in the world.
Oh, so I misinterpreted. I thought they were only the collabs are on pour over there. They had their other stuff there too.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So almost everybody has a collab, and then they'll have 1 to 3 other beers.
That's it.
And it just so happened 18th Street collabed with Revolution, so Revolution was serving the collab. So 18th Street came all the way from Indiana to Pittsburgh and just poured 2 of their.
That's so cool.
What they do.
That's awesome.
Which was really cool to see.
So another big reason why I'm going to go to it next year.
Yeah.
Because I was like, first and foremost, I wanted to see. I love art and I love beer, and they put it together. I love that first and foremost. Plus, supporting Dennis. We love Dennis, of course. Listen to the last episode. We clearly love Dennis. But trying all the other beers too, man, that's just something really cool. And I'm amazed too now that you didn't black out.
Yeah. Well, once I got home. Well, not once I got home. We probably drank with quite a group of people from the fest. Including the guys from Hop Nation, including Dennis. So I got pretty deep in. And then couldn't bob my head above water anymore. But didn't feel too bad the next day, surprisingly. But yeah, I definitely went nighty-night.
Oh, yeah.
At like 2:30, I think.
That's pretty good for a dentist night.
Yeah. I kept my head up until everybody left, and then it was
Good job.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Adam goes into melted candle mode when he gets to a certain point, and that's when you know it's time to go bye-bye.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of national breweries that also come in that we don't get here in Pittsburgh. And next year, I went to meetings for both homebrew clubs here in Pittsburgh, in Allegheny County, and they're both going to try to get to next year's as well. They were in the prior iterations of Barrel and Flow when it was Fresh Fest.
Yeah.
This year, of course, was kind of hectic, and the brew clubs weren't meeting as regularly, so we missed out this year, but we're going to try to get some homebrew there next year with some collabs.
Hell yeah, dude. I would love to see, it'd be really cool if you could collab up with Baron Batch. If you could somehow get a hold of him and you guys could Baron Bash.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Where are you at, Baron? We got a collab ready for you for next year for Barrel and Flow. Get us at Decay and WTB and all social media, man. So, Adam, of course, we could live in our love for Barrel and Flow, but we have to move on to some things that might not be so great. Thank God we have some beers. Okay. So, Extreme Rules 2021 from the flagship WWE is set to kick off, I think, on September 29th. So the problem with this card was it was full, and then Vince, to combat the ratings that AEW pulled some of the matches from Extreme Rules and put it on cable television, and it worked, kinda, and then it just gutted Extreme Rules, which is supposed to be like an extreme, like the name it is. It's supposed to be like some hardcore rule matches. Kevin Owens usually has a match, and of course you don't know what's going on with him. So we're going to dive into it. It's scheduled for September 26th. I apologize. In Columbus, Ohio, at Nationwide Arena.
Hey, that's close. We should get tickets.
Oh, God.
You couldn't pay me.
Yeah, there's no way. 'Cause there's not a single match here, I think, that I want to see.
There's one, but I already know the finish. So.
Yep. So, right now, there's only 4 matches that are confirmed for this card. As we sit here right now, we're recording this on Thursday, September 16th. So I'm sure they're going to add some matches in the meantime, but right now, these are the 4 that we can kind of make predictions on. So the first match we have here is Becky Lynch bringing in the SmackDown Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. So if you don't know the storyline in this, just don't worry about that because it's very quick. And for people who support women's wrestling, it may feel a little bit of a slap in the face, but Bianca Belair lost her belt in 27 seconds?
Yeah.
At SummerSlam. So Becky Lynch is bringing it back in to fight Bianca Belair. For this match, I unfortunately think that Becky Lynch is going to retain this belt. I don't think they're going to let Bianca Belair take the strap off Becky, but I do think they're going to let Bianca and Sasha go back at it to see the number 1 contender for Becky, and Sasha's going to go over Bianca, and it's going to be the Becky-Sasha SmackDown match that everybody has allegedly wants.
And Bianca will just roll down the card.
Yep. And then she'll go back to being a mid-card speciality.
I mean, as long as they get 10 minutes this time at least, I'm okay with that. As long as
it's only 4 matches.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, not only that, but McMahon pulling all the bells and whistles off of this didn't help. I just saw before the podcast started, Dynamite beat Raw again. So.
And for good reason too.
Yeah, and Dynamite didn't even have. I mean, it was a setup show for next week, which next week's show is going to destroy.
Next week in general is going to destroy.
Not to get too off topic, but I totally agree with you on. I totally agree with you on match number 1. I think Becky Lynch is going to keep it. I just hope for a good showcase of both women's skills in this to kind of make up for what happened at SummerSlam.
Yeah, but I just think right now with the way that Vince has been rolling, I don't know. It's just not going to fare well for Bianca. I hope I'm wrong, but I think Bianca is going to take a bit of a tumble here, which is going to suck. Onto a match that I actually wouldn't mind watching again. I think these matches are great when they go. It's Damian Priest and Sheamus for the United States Championship. We've seen this match, about 3 times now?
Yeah, I'm over it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good, but
it's not pay-per-view worthy.
Yeah, I'm done. Like,
unless, why isn't this a hardcore rule? Why isn't this a hardcore?
Why are none of these?
Yeah, none of them are.
I'm looking ahead. I just see singles.
Yeah. Every one of these matches, aside from Becky and Bianca, that's the one I wouldn't put hardcore rules matches on. Yeah, but the other ones here, like Damian Priest and Sheamus, you've already gone through a triple threat match. You've already done singles competition with each other.
Yeah, go hardcore last man standing or something.
Yeah,
and blow off the feud.
Yeah, absolutely. You can finally get this thing.
No, because they got to run it back a fourth time for Hell in the Cell.
Yeah, they'll put it on for Hell in a Cell, then Vince McMahon will pull it and put it on fucking Raw or something. So I think you obviously Damian Priest is going to go over again on Sheamus. Sheamus is doing great work right now as a heel, but he needs somebody. I think Sheamus needs to be elevated. I think a feud between Sheamus and Big E would be kind of cool for at least a short interim, since Big E is now on top of the mountain. But it's. Sheamus is a showman. Damian Priest is on the way up. Let Damian Priest keep the strap and let Sheamus go on to something bigger.
I agree. Yeah. I can't say anything different there. If you take the belt off of Damian Priest, it's stupid. So I think, just beat him in another hard-hitting match and elevate Priest as much as he can with a repeat match. He needs some fresh blood.
Where's Humberto? Where's he at?
I don't know. He might have got hurt. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because what a great if it was Priest and Humberto going after it, I think it'd be some pretty good matches.
Then you got face.
Yeah, but I think sometimes those respect matches, like the handshake matches,
they can work. You just can't run them for 3 months like WWE.
Yeah, you just can't. Yeah, it's not a best of 5 series. So we move on to a match that
you know who I want to see.
Yeah.
Now that you brought that up.
Okay.
Cesaro. I don't know if it's the right brand
Who's that?
or whatever. But Cesaro Priest would be great. He used to do the swing thing.
Oh, yeah. What do they call him? The Dutchland Destroyer or something?
The Swiss Midcarder.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, the Swiss cheese. Where the fuck is Cesaro, man?
I mean, he's a lot like Sheamus as far as like heavy striking, but
yeah,
it's a fresh opponent.
It is, and I think too,
and he's got good size. Like, you know.
I think he and Damian Priest are of equivalent like body type,
Mm-hmm.
and Cesaro does put on a really good match. You know what sucks, man? That you thought about that, and he wasn't even in my brain. I went to Humberto because I don't know what to do anymore with the mid card titles. Where's the IC title? Who has that?
Don't even know who has it. Don't know who has the US either.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know where anything is.
Or no, we just did the US title.
Yeah, Damian Priest has that, but I don't know. Where's the IC title? Is it gone? Did they just make it the US title?
Oh,
I don't even know.
Crap. Cruz. Does Apollo Crews have it still?
No, he lost it.
Oh, I have no idea then.
Because he had that new gimmick that was going on.
Sami Zayn might have it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Who
knows? We'll find out later. So, moving on to a match here that developed rather quickly and doesn't really have the build that I think that it should have. Charlotte Flair is putting her Raw Women's Championship on the line against Alexa Bliss. This could be a cool match. It could be because both of them can wrestle. Let's just put it out there right now. They can both put on a show. But you're trying to take Charlotte Flair, who is the quintessential, like, wall of hatred for the universe, and you're putting her up against Alexa Bliss, who's supposed to be some supernatural character. Both of them are supposed to sell storylines, and you gave them no storyline to sell.
Yeah, I mean, the only silver lining to this match is Nia Jax is out.
Yeah. You can't hurt anybody now.
I don't think there's any way Alexa Bliss is taking this unless you make it Extreme Rules in the next few weeks and she can win it by nefarious means, and then they can put it back on Charlotte in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But
they'll put it on Raw, and then
this card is flat as fuck.
It is, man, and it's hard to punch it up because you gotta think about like the next step here. Like, look at the last one here. We're going to talk about Roman Reigns taking on Finn Balor, and he's coming back as the Demon, and it's for the Universal Championship. And you know that Roman takes the belt. That's a given.
And I'll guess 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Like right around that 22-minute mark, it'll be a hard-fought victory for Roman, slaying the Demon, going into whatever fucking pay-per-view's next.
And it's so dumb that that's how this is going to be because, I mean, Roman Reigns is on a collision course with Brock Lesnar. They're going to fight for custody of Paul Heyman. And I don't know I just don't know what do you do with Finn. I
Yeah,
mean,
why is that not?
this one?
Yeah, why aren't they just
Yeah.
doing it here?
You-
You really
you-
need it for Survivor Series? Are they waiting all the way till Mania for that shit?
Well, I'll tell you this too. So the Brock reemergence wasn't supposed to come about until they got closer to Survivor Series, but Vince was losing to AEW, so he had to think of something. So he debuted 3 people in a matter of a
They
week
have
and a
small
half.
guys.
Yeah,
Well, we got Finn. Finn, get out there.
We got them indie guys.
You're friends with those elite fellas. Like, it just doesn't. It's just gonna make Finn look bad.
Weak.
Like, yeah.
Weak.
There's nothing. You know what to do? Put the IC title on him because I don't know who the IC
Yeah.
champion is.
It's vacant.
Elevate it with Finn Balor. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it'd be kind of cool too. Finn Balor might have a chance here because they're gonna bring back.
Shinsuke Nakamura. He's the IC champion.
That's it. Thank you.
Just
Okay.
remember. Which, yes, book that. Finn versus Shinsuke. I'd much
Amazing.
rather watch that.
Yeah, for sure. The Master of Hardstyle taking on the Demon.
Yeah.
I'd buy that 6 times, which is what you would probably see it once it gets booked. So again, Roman Reigns takes the championship over Finn Balor. Yeah, I'd like to see Finn get into that. Or they have the King of the Ring tournament coming up pretty soon here.
Yeah.
And
Sure do.
it could be time for Finn Balor to get into something like
Balor?
that. King Balor.
I don't know. I think that gimmick's death for everybody
You
that
think?
touches it. Yeah, since like 1998. I mean, really, was King Corbin anything? That was
No,
nothing.
you're right.
Sheamus won it that one year. That sucked.
The only 2 people I can really remember taking off when they got King of the Ring was Triple H, because he broke away from that like snooty persona when he won it.
I don't think did he win it?
He won.
I don't remember that.
William Regal, and he took.
I think Regal was the last good one.
Yeah, and then Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold.
when he
that's
broke.
what it launched his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those were like significant instances here, but yeah, like,
Yeah, but that's all back in the 90s. Regal was like early 2000s, I
Yeah.
think. But yeah, the last couple were like Corbin, Sheamus, Wade Barrett, who like got the gimmick
Yeah.
and was fired a year later.
yeah,
Like,
And
yeah.
now he does commentary,
Right.
for NXT 2.0.
So yeah,
3.0.
keep that freaking crown away from everybody.
So a match that was supposed to be on here was the Randy Orton and Bobby Lashley title fight, which we'll get into that here in a
They
second.
pushed to Raw. So, well, yeah, not to spoil, but like, what do you think? Given who the champion is on the other brand, what match do you think they're going to do there?
Who even knows?
Yeah,
I mean, you built up nobody.
and you have no tag matches yet.
None.
So-
It's disrespect to tag teams. Well, do you here's the I just thought about this. Here's a fucked up thing that's going to happen. It's going to be Bobby Lashley and MVP taking on RK Bro on this card for the Raw tag team titles.
Because that match didn't end up happening on Raw. I didn't watch Raw this week,
I don't.
except for the big news. I went back and watched that.
I don't think that. I'm not sure.
I
but,
think that got scrapped. I think you're right. Or they did both matches.
Well, they did both, but they can just run it back anyway. So,
Right.
But yeah, this card's flat. I would say if you have the opportunity to not buy it and just stream it on Peacock, it might be worth putting on in the background. But if you have to pay like $50 to watch it, don't do it.
hell no.
Don't do it. So we're gonna get into some of this. So from Buckle to Bell, the boys bring you the best pro wrestling news in the biz. So first and foremost, Triple H is gone. Our dad is gone, and Vince McMahon is playing with NXT. And I can tell you, NXT 2.0 or 3.0, if you know how to count using your fingers and toes, it was a dud. I mean, Tommaso Ciampa. See, I always say
one of my favorites, man.
Tommaso Ciampa. He's the new champ, and that's awesome because I never pronounced his last name right, but I love watching Tommaso. He was one of the best things about NXT. I thought he was always like a very aggressive, gritty, like anti-hero.
And you got his first name right.
Yeah, and that's
you
all-
nailed the first name.
I'm all about first names.
Old Tommy Ciampa.
Yeah, old Tommy Ciampa. So and it was funny too because Vince wants those big linebacker motherfuckers, and he puts it on a quote unquote indie guy. So we look at the first match of the night, and it's LA Knight, who's set to be in the main event he's set to be in the fatal four-way for the title.
Right.
And he gets accosted by Braun Breaker with 2 Ks. So you look at Braun Breaker and you're like, he looks familiar. Why does he have a box head and a big set of shoulders? That's because he's fucking Rick Steiner's kid. And of course, following all the other guys, he tried his hand at the NFL, and then he didn't do well at that, which that's hard. No qualms with that.
Right.
But then you sign with WWE as the February NXT class. So now he is Braun Breaker. Instead of being...
Braun Steiner? Whatever his real
Steiner.
freaking name is. Like, why are you covering up the Steiner? So, for example, WWE, Brian Pillman Jr. in AEW is a bland character, is okay in the ring right now. But what's boosting him up the card and what's selling him to the crowd is his namesake.
Pillman!
Like, come on. You got to use these generation superstars the way they're meant to be used. Like, it's ridiculous.
And here's the thing, too. You look at Breaker, how he was in the ring, super green, super stiff, LA Knight, very fluid. There's a reason why he's in the Fatal 4-Way match. He gets quintessentially squashed by Braun Breaker, only then to wrestle 1 hour later. And I wrote in here, because kayfabe or whatever. Because I don't... This has Vince McMahon's rubber stamp of approval all over it. And like the insiders that I get info from, they say that this NXT card changed several times leading up to before they pulled the curtain.
Yeah.
Like this thing was changing the whole
Papa
time.
H was gone.
Yeah. Triple H isn't there to secure this thing. Triple H doesn't always make the best decisions, but he can at least schedule a card. Him and Shawn, they can do it. So LA Knight did wrestle in the Fatal 4-Way for the NXT title an hour later. He puts up a great battle despite getting his ass handed to him by Braun Breaker.
2Ks.
Yeah. And also, too, why is the NXT title match not the main event?
Because you had a wedding, man.
Yeah. You got a wedding.
Can I ask you, so you watched it. Was it live?
No. Yeah. Yes, it was.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
That's the only excuse they have. Is because you had to set the ring up for the wedding.
That's true.
So that's if it was taped, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
But that's I think why.
Can you tell me why the good excuse as to why Kyle O'Reilly was written out of the Fatal 4-Way?
Only if he has a legit injury.
He doesn't.
I mean, other than that, no.
He's
not
in it.
If you wanted to throw somebody else in, you know how you get them in? LA Knight got beat earlier in the night. He's out. Put somebody else in. Yeah.
But Kyle O'Reilly, he was written out of the Fatal 4-Way.
So who took his spot?
Oh, God, man. Gun to my head, dude. I couldn't even tell you.
It should have been Braun Breaker.
It should have been Braun Breaker because he wrestled his way into it.
I'm sorry, I did not watch the match. I just saw that Ciampa won, and
honestly,
that Breaker wasn't using his dad's name, and I was like, "Wow, this sounds infuriating."
I was so excited to watch the match because of LA Knight, Kyle O'Reilly, and Tommaso. There's a third guy was in there, a fourth guy was in there, and I don't know who it is. I can't remember. Pete Dunne. Dune.
My favorite.
So he's
soon to be in AEW.
Soon to be in AEW. So the main event is a segment, as we talked about, and it was the Index Wedding, which I'll say this, I watched it. It was a very nice piece of comedic wrestling. It is what it is. It's what you wanted it to be, but what I'm trying to get across here is that we've seen weddings a ton. You can put that in the middle of your show.
You put it at the beginning
of your show. Yeah. It could be a YouTube exclusive.
Not only that, it's Dexter Lumis spoke, though. It's so great.
I do.
You know what they did there? The clever thing they did is they used Dexter, a serial killer from Showtime, and then Loomis, which is from Halloween, and he's a creepy serial killer guy.
Wait a minute.
Because you can creepy serial kill on pro wrestling.
Are you telling me right now that they stole ideas?
Which was his same fucking character from Impact, by the way.
Dead-eyed stare, wrestling in cargo pants with when he was
Samuel Shaw, which was my favorite character on TNA for that time period because it was so ridiculous.
It's terrible, man. So, of course, at the end of this whole thing, the only thing I really have to say is, Hunter, please get well soon.
Yeah, save this brand.
I hear that he's doing well, and they're keeping it very quiet.
Save this fucking brand.
So, we were starting to allude to it here. Big E is the Universal Champion.
Best WWE news of the week.
Yeah. So on Raw, the Legend Killer Randy Orton took on the almighty Bobby Lashley. This is supposed to be on Extreme Rules, but they put it on Raw to combat some of the ratings that they were losing to AEW. So I'll say this first and foremost. Orton and Lashley have great chemistry. They know how to put on a good match. This is the kind of match I wanted to see. I didn't want to see Lashley and Goldberg. If they somehow could have built Orton and Lashley for SummerSlam, it would have been way better. And of course, Orton in, Viper fashion starts working on the leg for Lashley, creating a weakness, then loses to only leave the almighty weakened. Big E comes in, cashes that motherfucker in.
I'm going to stop now because weakens the leg. Because, Big E's finisher's like the sharpshooter, right? Mm-hmm. Figure 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
And then also I get you ruined what I like with wrestling, which is the surprise. You had Big E announce it ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
Because they wanted to bring viewers in. I get that. But
Twitter was on fire.
It's lazy as fuck.
Twitter was on fire.
Lazy. And it didn't work.
Didn't work. Simpsons did it. So the championship was supposedly written up for what was described in the back as a really long time by the writing team. So this is supposed to kind of go hand in hand with the WWE draft in early October. And like I said before, with the new ratings war, Vince pulled the trigger early on this title capture by Big E. And I'm going to say this right now. You could almost feel the morale of the back room raise. Like,
with that.
Yeah, they needed something. There was too much going on.
Was Lashley that big of a dickhead?
I've heard some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm hearing shit from here in Pittsburgh.
Right.
In our little
we're
indie
not
podcast.
Up in Stamford.
No. And to hear it all the way over here from like the few people that I talk to from like Wrestle Talk and PWI, like that'll like be very nice to send me a message. They're just like, Lashley's a dick. That's what I get. Like, how is he in the back? Lashley's a dick. So speaking of Lashley, they're now like, what do you do for Lashley now that he lost a title? That's supposed to be his bread and butter. Apparently, 3 things are supposed to happen here. The Hurt Business is rumored to reunite.
Thumbs up from me.
Totally into that. Plus, if they're all like very leery of each other, because like, oh, you turned on me and then you turned on me, that'd be really cool. Like inner turmoil. Right. Then this makes them all really aggressive. And then, of course, Lashley versus Goldberg, not for a title.
You know what? If it's got to happen, I'm glad it's not for a title. Yeah. I'll tell you that. Because you can get it over within 3 minutes and fine. Probably in Saudi Arabia, I'm guessing.
Do you know how bad it would be if Lashley got squashed by Goldberg?
Pretty bad. Yeah. That means he's acting real naughty in the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really pissing off everybody.
He got some heat if he loses like that.
Then the last one here, we kind of already talked about this one, is Lashley can move into a feud with RK Bro, which makes a little bit of sense because he could blame Randy for losing the title because he weakened him. Randy, Wendy, what are you doing?
So again, like not to harp on it too much, but Big E announcing it early ruins the surprise. And I get it might pop your rating for this week, but you know what would pop your rating for future weeks? Doing something like a title change unannounced.
Yeah.
So people get FOMO and start tuning in every Monday again. But keep trying, and now you got Monday Night Football to compete with.
Yeah,
so
which
good fucking luck.
And if you watch the game between, no, that was Sunday Night Football. It was the Raiders in Baltimore. Oh wow, dude. Football's fucking crazy already in 2021.
Football's getting nuts.
So
you get unsportsmanlike conduct for sneezing on your opponent.
Yeah, what's happening? No celebrations, no sneezing. Get the fuck out. Oh my god. So Samoa Joe had to relinquish his NXT title. Of course, Tommaso won it on the debut of NXT 2.0. Right now, we're not sure what's going on with Joe. But we do know that it was originally rumored to be a work, but this has been confirmed by medical staff at WWE. They found out his injury is too significant for him to take any bumps. So he's not going to be out for a really long time, but it's going to be long enough to where if he had the title, it would make sense. It'd be worse than having a part-timer hold the title. No one knows what it is.
Yeah, I'm guessing concussion, but
Probably.
It's been weeks.
Yeah. Well, who knows, man?
I don't know.
The way he came back on the scene for NXT and they didn't let him really do anything other than kind of like be an enforcer, maybe he was still dealing with some on-again, off-again concussion symptoms. Thought he was okay, took a bump. Who knows?
Not okay. Yeah, who knows?
Speaking of not okay, Brian Cage is not okay.
Wolverine.
Oh, my God, man. Brian Cage's wife took to Twitter to voice her displeasure with how her husband, Brian Cage, the Machine, has been booked as of late. She went on to state that Cage is a superstar and he was a dominant force on the indie scene, and she feels that he's been buried by the talent that Tony Khan has been signing. I'm just going to say this right now.
Does this dummy know she can just see him at home?
Yeah, he's right there. He's right there. You're going to get a little buried by newly signed talent.
Right.
Everybody is. Everyone's taking it because it makes sense right now.
And she either needs to pick her words more wisely, or if he sent her out as the attack dog, that's just stupid of him. Like, I don't know what the case is here. It worked for Matt Hardy back a few years ago, but I don't think this is the time to be pushing buttons. You're not. I don't know. I don't think he's like that special, other than being a liability for some quad tears here in a few months or years.
Yeah. Well, I think for him, he was kind of the de facto leader in Taz's whole FTW crew, and then when that fell apart, you thought it was going to be Cage and Hobbs, and then something happened where that didn't like come to fruition.
Yeah, the match happened. They had a match,
but it wasn't like a
he lost by
build-up.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot to it because he thought he was on a collision course, really, with a big match with Ricky.
Or maybe
Starks
this
somewhere.
issue is like now Punk is taking kind of that storyline, that story arc, maybe, and that's what's pissing her off. But I mean, I don't know if you're not one of the people involved in the company or that work. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have my wife email my work and be like, Adam wanted to be on this contract and you got him on the like, especially in a public forum. Like, no. I'll take care of my issues at my workplace. I let her take care of her issues at her workplace. It's not a misogynistic thing. It's just she doesn't work there. Yeah, I work there. I'll handle my shit. Yeah.
So if I could, I would say if Brian Cage is unhappy, he should really go make a pitch to wrestle Miro.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a cool match to see. You have people right now. He wants to be.
They fucked up our booking, by the way.
I know.
We're giving a Soul rematch just because Japanese Grandpa got pissed off?
I want to see Murder Grandpa.
Oh, my God. Because they cut his song off 20 seconds early.
The Suzuki incident.
Oh, my God.
I think Brian Cage just has to not. Dude, you're not going to hold the heavyweight title right now.
That's my biggest freaking issue with that company right now. The whole Suzuki incident is just pissing me off.
Killing you inside. So, Adam, the last thing we got to talk about here, and it's not...
Put the title on Kingston, goddammit.
It's not wrestling news, but Norm Macdonald passed away at 61 years old, and I couldn't find anything better to say than what Anthony Jeselnik tweeted. He said, battling cancer for 9 years without telling anyone is the most Norm Macdonald shit ever.
Yeah.
From Saturday Night Live to Billy Madison to Dirty Work, he lended his voice to Family Guy, Fairly Odd Parents, and a myriad of other straight-to-DVD, unfortunately, animated shows, and his numerous stand-up specials, and his hilarious bits on Conan and every late-night show. He brought hilarity with deadpan delivery, take no prisoners attitude. He'll be missed. I'll miss him.
Yeah, and in a weird clip I saw going around that was just, I mean, maybe his way of letting everybody know. A few years back, he made a joke that, and I think it was for a benefit. He said, cancer never wins. It's always a draw. If you die, the cancer dies too. So it's always just a draw, which is just like, in retrospect, a very Norm observation. So, sorry you're gone, Norm, but at least you didn't lose to cancer.
Yeah, man. Fucking badass, dude.
Fuck cancer.
Yeah, man. So, with that somber news, go back and check out all the Norm Macdonald clips on YouTube. They're hilarious. Check out all of his movies. I mean, his estate still makes the money off residuals, and they can really help his family out. So go check out all of his shit. Buy his stuff. Just take care of his family like you would take care of your own. So we're going to go into a break. We're going to send you guys to some sponsors. And if you like what you hear, go check them out. Because when you support them, you support us. And when you support us, we're bringing some pretty cool stuff. So we'll see you on the other side. Woo. I know what you're thinking right now. How do I get the downstairs hair care I need to impress my partner? Well, the boys have a little something for you.
That's right. You can take your grooming to the next level with the flagship of Smooth My Balls, the Turf Chopper 3.0. This pube-destroying trimmer uses stainless steel ceramic blade with micro-sized teeth to ensure you're covered by no-scrape technology.
Yep. No cuts, no nicks, no bumps, no hair pulls, and no mishaps. And when those pubes go a-flying, you can call in the backups. the Pube Muncher 1.0, and Sack Mat to ensure cleanup is a breeze. All these devices can be used in wet or dry conditions, and they're compact for easy travel storage and have fast charging technology.
Right now, our listeners can save 15% on their entire order by using our link, smoothmyballs.com/DWTB. That includes free shipping to the U.S.
That's right. So head on over to smoothmyballs.com/DWTB and tell them the boys sent you. Welcome back. Hopefully you heard something that you like, because if you do, again, if you support them, you support us, and when you support us, we bring you some pretty cool stuff. So I threw out to the Twitterverse. I asked you guys, would you watch a slasher movie if it was based off of a Florida Man headline? And 100% of our listeners said yes. And I'm just going to say, you guys are brave as fuck. And I'll say, too, our friends over there at Halloween is Forever said that they have some recommendations for us. So,
Can't wait.
yeah, I'll have to see what they bring to our attention. That movie that Steve had them watching, I know what movie that is.
I watched it.
Yeah, it's awful.
I watched it after listening to the episode because it's free on YouTube, and it was
so bad.
Awful.
My goodness. So we're moving in around 2 here, and we're just going to keep it on going with some more Barrel and Flow Fest beers. So, again, check out at Barrel and Flow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So we're going to go ahead and jump into, it's called Woven in Time, and this is a collab between Allagash and Sankofa. So this is going to be a dark ale brewed with millet, smoked maple syrup, and has easy drinking notes of chocolate, cola, burnt sugar, and hints of dried fruit, and it comes in at 5.7% alcohol content.
At least we're doing low ABVs today. So yeah, let's hear it. There we go. Just a little bit about the collab. Allagash is a pretty big brewery here in North America already. So let me tell you a little bit about Sankofa Beer Company, which is a black-owned beer company in Washington, D.C., and it's based and inspired by the founders' connections to West Africa. So they are on a mission to expand the conventions of craft beer by creating a space where culture meets craft, which sounds like a perfect brewery to be involved with Barrel and Flow. So,
yeah, exactly.
And I get to D.C., before COVID times, I got to D.C. a few times a year for training. So next time I'm down there, because I used to live there, I'll have to check them out. They were not there when I lived there, but
so
new brewery to check out.
While you were being so generous to read off of, getting everyone up to date on that wonderful brewery, I poured myself a little glass of this wonderful treat. And I can tell you that as soon as I cracked the can, the maple smacked me in the nose. It's got a lot of effervescence to it. Really sticks around. You took your first sip, and I can see your face just says it all.
Yeah.
The color's on point. It's exactly what I said it was going to be. It looks nice, dark, spicy. What are you thinking?
It's crazy because off the smell, I immediately thought, this is going to be it's going to be too sweet from the maple, and I'm not going to get any of that smoke it's promising. No, I get a ton of the smoke in the taste. From the smell of it, it just tastes like a roasty dark ale of some sort, like a stout almost. Doesn't really taste like a stout other than a little bit of roastiness. Just a really solid, light, dark beer that I could drink quite a few of, to be honest. It doesn't blow out your palate in any way.
I'm really liking that.
It's good.
Yeah, I like that the smokiness definitely is the main character here. It sticks around. It's not really carrying anything else with it. Like you said, I think it's a good campfire beer. Nice and light. You can have a few of these. Yeah, man. The maple's in the back.
Yeah. And it would be great around a campfire with that little bit of smokiness.
Yeah.
That'd be phenomenal.
Perfect. You know what else happens with fire, buddy? Spooky season.
Oh, I was going to say smoke.
So as we keep approaching October and the spooky season of them all, Netflix, most notably, is set to release an interactive movie starring a friend of the podcast, Mark Calloway, a.k.a. to you, Marks, as The Undertaker.
He's only your friend.
He's our friend. My friends are your friends,
I'm friends
your
with
friends
Andy.
are my friends. So, but we also have to know here that this is not the first time a professional wrestler so happened to show up in a horror movie. So, Adam, I challenge you to the Mount Rushmore of horror movies with professional wrestlers. Sounds very specific, and it was very difficult to do this research.
It is. But I'm glad you only used the term with instead of starring, and you'll see why.
This makes the most sense. And the reason why I said with is also I'm in the same brain set as you are.
Yeah.
So It's been a while since we did a Mount Rushmore. So if people are just tuning in for the first time, welcome to the Jojitorium. But just so you know how this goes, one of us will go first, and we'll go back and forth until we have 8 picks overall between the two of us, and then we will decide and debate over the top 4, so then we can move on and give you guys the Mount Rushmore of horror movies with professional wrestlers, so you can kick off spooky season in a really weird way.
And one of the funnest parts is it goes in a draft type situation. So if one of us picks a choice that the other one had, the other person can't use it or claim it.
So sorry. So you
other than saying "fuck you" for taking my pick,
which we say a lot. So, listener beware. Lots of swears.
Yeah, there's gonna be cussing.
So, Adam, I really think that you went first last time.
Okay. If you take my first round pick, this is gonna start real bad though.
So. Here's the thing.
It's going to be real bad. I'm real protective of my first choice.
I can only imagine. So you know what I'm going to do, man? Here's what I'm going to do for you, because I know your first pick.
No, you don't.
I know you well enough.
No, I don't think you know it, but
so
you might know it.
Here's my first pick, okay? Because it's a little more modern, and it's my swerve. And I want to take it now, because I feel like you may have seen this too. So,
your first pick's supposed to be your best pick, just so you know.
And
That's how drafts go.
Oh, God damn it. All right, listen.
You kind of qualified it like it's some B movie that...
It's not a B movie.
That freaking...
It's not a B movie.
Randy Orton was a zombie in for 3 seconds.
That'd be sick as fuck, though, if he was. Could you imagine him as like a fast zombie, like a 28 days later?
He doesn't do anything fast. There's no way he's a fast zombie.
Just like his body type.
His ring entrance takes 4 minutes.
He has a 5-minute song for his intro and takes all 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to kick it off then with one of my favorite sci-fi horror movies of all time, and that is a vehicle that starred Jesse Ventura, and that's going to be The Predator. Predator 1.
I immediately have an issue with it.
Why?
Just because I think that's more of a sci-fi movie than a horror movie.
Well, it's sci-fi horror.
I think it's sci-fi action.
It's very creature-esque.
There is a creature. There is an alien.
Yeah. So sci-fi horror.
I'm not. It's a first round pick in a sci-fi action movie list. But
It's not a sci-fi. Well, here's the thing. It's a sci-fi action horror. Now, I wish I could.
Oh, well, let's just throw Is it also a romantic comedy? Because they got the.
Can you pick a fucking romantic comedy that has a professional wrestler in it that isn't shit? That has the Big Show in it? Every romantic comedy with a wrestler has the Big Show in it. I think I like this really small woman that'll never like.
And he doesn't do his best thing, which is turn heel on everybody.
Why are you not choke slamming?
I'll allow it, but we're gonna. I mean, I have to allow it because it's just you're picking the top 8. You're gonna have to really negotiate to get that in the top 4, though.
All I'm saying is, if you look at... well, here's the thing. I'll say in terms of Predator movies, it's not the best one. Predator 2 is the best one with Danny Glover. That's the best one. Easily the best one. But...
it's more action-packed, but the legacy's all in number 1.
It is. And it's a horror movie because if you think about the stalking, it's very slasher-esque.
The only credit I give it to you, which I'm not putting a lot of weight on, especially given some of my picks, is that Ventura's in it a lot.
Yeah, he is.
So
he's
you have
a main fixture.
It's starring a professional wrestler.
And quite literally, too, you could also say, because Arnold Schwarzenegger's in it, too, and he was very heavy in professional wrestling.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's heavily involved because Triple H has a big old dad boner for him.
Yeah, of course. So my first pick, I'm picking Predator, Jesse Ventura.
You can pick that sci-fi movie all you want. I'm gonna pick. Was there a wrestler in E.T. that I can pick?
Yeah, Elliot. Don't you know?
He grew up to be Daniel Bryan. Did you know?
He grew up to be Daniel Bryan, the American Dragon. He's looking at an alien. He's going, I wish I could fucking Hurricane Rana that little bastard.
All right. Well, since you didn't take my first round,
I know what your first round pick is.
Well, since you didn't take it, I have like 2 in between right now. But I'm going to take what is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and that's The Devil's Rejects, which
beautiful
has Mr. DDP in it as a evil biker dude.
Wonderful.
That gets his comeuppance.
I do enjoy his character. He's alongside of Danny Trejo.
Yes.
In that, which it's great character for him, man.
Yeah, which I actually forgot he was in that movie until I did a little bit of research. And I saw Devil's Rejects pop on the list with professional wrestlers, and I'm like, who's in that? And like I immediately was like, oh fuck, I forgot.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, totally my number 1 pick.
He gets murked too,
Yeah.
man.
He
has a terrible death.
Yeah.
So
it's phenomenal.
My second round pick here, and this is a movie I really do like. It's very campy, but I really enjoy this one. So I like mashups. So Freddy versus Jason featured a stunt double. Of course, because
one of mine.
Yeah. We made a joke before about Freddy all of a sudden knowing Muay Thai and all kinds of shit. That's because he was stunt doubled by the wonderful Rey Mysterio, and he did all the stunts for Freddy Krueger. So that's why I put with professional wrestlers. So he actually got his SAG card for being in this one. And so he's actually a card-carrying Screen Actors Guild.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So my second round pick here is Freddy versus Jason because of Rey Mysterio.
Motherfucker. It's all right. No, smart. It was definitely on my list, and it was definitely going to be in one of my 4 picks. Not sure where. Yeah, and you can totally tell where it is because at one point Freddy in the movie does like a similar jump to when Ray used to jump through the stage.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, there's Ray.
Also, too, at one point, Freddy loses about 6 inches of height.
Makes Jason look real dominant.
Super tall.
Oh, my gosh. Phenomenal pick. I like that better than your first round pick, to be honest.
I wanted to get that one out there because I loved... Here's the thing. I'm going to defend just a little bit now. Jesse Ventura did a very good job in the movie, and I feel like if you just made that like a human enemy, it would have been a slasher movie.
Get ready to get pissed at me. Ready for my pick?
I think I am.
I am picking Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween in 2007, which featured Tyler Mane, who was a tag partner of Kevin Nash when he was originally in WCW as the Diamond Stud. He played Michael Myers, so it was starring a pro wrestler. Michael Myers is the star of that movie.
So
he was also in the follow-up by Rob Zombie, but that movie sucks. So I'm just taking the first one.
You don't want your third round pick to be Halloween 2?
No, but the man played Michael Myers. I'm building a list of classic horror movies.
Wow, and he played that very well. I mean, he did a great job.
Yeah. Had the size.
Dude.
God.
Yeah. The way he sold the stab, especially when he kills the nurse in the front of the mental hospital, the grunts, and they must have had something there for him to stab because there's no way he was like pulling up on those.
Was he on your list?
He was. Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to surprise you with one.
No. You're not going to. You're not going to. Because this is one of my favorite things to do when I'm hanging out at home to see like what I could get myself into.
Wait till you see my next one.
So I'm going to go with a classic movie here. This is the movie that...
You might be taking it.
I possibly could be. So in 1988, one of the best fight scenes that ever hit the screen was actually a real shoot. These two guys really went after it. Roddy Piper starred in They Live, where he got to have the sunglasses that helps him see all the aliens. So fuck you.
No.
These aliens are okay, but the aliens in the first one weren't.
Yeah, it's just every list I looked on for Predator, it said it was a sci-fi action. So I didn't take it. And I kind of agreed with it. But They Live, I do consider sci-fi horror. I don't know. Yeah, I just need to nitpick your first round choices. You know how that is.
All I'm saying is that you can't have aliens this way. You can't tell me that Mars Attacks is in the same universe as Aliens, because they are.
Sadly, yes. Again, I disagree with that. But
Ving Rhames was in Mars Attacks. That should be on the list because he wrestled once. Put it on.
Funny you bring that up. Because for my next choice, I pick Scream, featuring David Arquette.
You son of a bitch! You took my swerve!
Former WCW champion, David Arquette.
If there were cameras in this podcast right now, you would see the disbelief on my face right now. I'm so mad.
Yes, and I know it's one of your favorite movie franchises, and I risk taking it third.
There's a reason why we are best friends, and there's a reason why I don't trust you, and it's because you take my swerve.
Scream, baby!
Fuck. All right, so...
And I had to take it now because I was worried about your fourth pick.
That was my fourth pick.
Yes.
You son of a bitch.
I got a great fourth pick.
I have funny picks that I want to...
So do I. Yeah. Mine's a funny one, too. You might steal mine.
So, I definitely... I'm going to put out one that I actually really enjoy, but then I'm going to... I want to go through the ones that I had for funsies. So, God, I'm looking at my list right now.
I still have one after you.
I know. When you're done, I want to throw out my funsies.
Okay, that's fine.
So actually, I'm going to go with a little indie movie that didn't really get a lot of heat, but it was actually really good, especially if you like deranged, like serial killer style. So Mick Foley actually starred in a movie called 12-Hour Shift.
Just recently, too, right?
Very recently. Yeah. And it was a fantastic movie. It's very much along the lines of like, psycho falls in love with girl, stalks girl, kills everyone to get to girl. It's cool.
Yeah, and it's like kind of part of a black market organ trade thing, right?
Yeah. Like they bring people to Mick Foley so he can dismember them.
Sounds cool. I haven't seen it. I saw a trailer for it, but I haven't seen the movie.
I'll be honest with you, man. Like of this list, the rewatchability of like the last couple ones we talked about, I think 12-Hour Shift. You find something new every time you watch it. It's a really cool movie. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Nice.
So, what do you have to bring up the rear, buddy?
Go with my funny one.
Yeah.
And a really good movie if you're just into cheesy gore.
I am.
And it's my favorite thing Bill Goldberg's ever done. And that's Santa's Sleigh, baby. Did everybody think I was going to say CM Punk Girl on the Third Floor? No.
Oh, God.
Because that movie was dull.
That movie was
Until
terrible.
the end. The end was great.
The end was okay. But you had to slug through the rest of it to get there.
Yeah, I get it, CM Punk. You get all the chicks. It's cool.
Let me just say this right now. Santa's Sleigh has one of the coolest decapitations in it because he kills Fran Drescher. Yes. He absolutely annihilates her.
I bumped into that movie probably 7 or 8 years ago now around Christmas time, and I was like, let's see what the heck it is. It's probably going to be shitty. Had no idea Bill Goldberg was in it until Santa showed up on the screen. I was like, oh, I think I know who that is.
He shows up and he's like, hey, you're next.
I think at some point he spears somebody. I was like, oh, I definitely know who that is.
He definitely spears somebody. So it was funny because actually the first time I watched that movie, it was when it was like a newer style like Swedish film came out, like A Christmas Tale, like their take on like
Krampus.
Kind of like Krampus, but it was good. It was that, and there was another one too where I don't remember the name of this fucking movie, but this guy is like a bum and he's drunk and he pretends to be Santa Claus, like he's saving the world.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called either.
So he's like just killing people. He's like, oh, you son of a bitch. Like he thinks he's killing all the elves and it's just like, he's just killing kids. It's fucking crazy. So for funsies, I want to say I actually was going to try to see if I could sneak The Running Man on here with you.
No chance. That's totally sci-fi.
Okay.
It's Jesse Venturin. You couldn't go with both of his movies.
Oh, I was going to see if you're going to fight Predator so hard, I was going to piss you off and put Running Man on there.
No, that's way worse. That's way worse, sir.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. It's just not a horror movie. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan did star in Gremlins 2.
Yeah, that's not a horror movie either.
Gremlins 2 is a horror.
It's a comedy
movie.
It's comedy.
It's comedy horror.
It's comedy kids.
Yeah. Well, I guess. The Rock, when he starred in Doom, that was
shitty movie.
Oh,
that is a horror movie. That movie sucks out
loud. That's a fun movie.
That movie sucks.
It's a mindless little thing.
And it destroys my Mount Rushmore video game of Doom. It's terrible.
It's
so boring.
I'll say the end of that movie is sick.
Yeah.
The end of it.
Yeah, you just gotta stick through 90 minutes for the last
Just
5.
found your joke. Yeah, it's great when it's over.
The ending is good.
Yeah.
But the 5 minutes of action for the fucking 85 minutes of build-up sucks.
Like, I think that they have good character development throughout it. I think there's, like, each person plays. It's supposed to be an over-the-top kind of thing that the video games are. I think it does its job. Yeah. It's not my favorite, but it's serviceable.
I'm glad you didn't throw it up. I would have fought you for that one.
I also had CM Punk Girl on the Third Floor. Because
that's also on my list as a backup.
Kane, See No Evil.
Didn't even put it on my list.
Yeah. And then I have Hornswoggle and Leprechaun Orange.
Didn't even put it on my list. That movie sucks too. So I had, I did have Ray for Freddy vs. Jason. Dave Bautista was in a movie with Danny Trejo as a drug dealer called L.A. Slasher.
Oh, that was a good one.
Gene Snitsky was in a recent movie called 100 Acres of Hell. I meant to watch that today and I forgot.
Horrible.
Is it bad?
So
bad. I probably wouldn't have said that one.
It's as good as his career.
And that's all I had. We pretty much exhausted my list between me and you. You had 3 things on my list, I think.
I will say
I did not have Predator, I had the other 3.
I didn't have Devil's Rejects. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming. So we got to really boil it down here. So I don't know, man. I think we both had some bangers here. You know what, though? I really got to give it to you because I think when you use Scream, you knock me for a loop, man. Because
I don't want that one on the list because
I know.
just because you like the movie.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding. No,
that
can go Mount Rushmore.
You hurt my feelings, so I'm going to give you first pick.
Plus, it's a whole series.
It's so good too, and hit the parody of him, Deputy Doofy. And smell my finger.
I don't want to put my number one pick up there yet because DDP's not in it that long. But for my number one, I would like to put up Halloween from 2007, the original remake.
And I wouldn't disagree with you. I know that movie received some weird heat for some reason. I don't know why.
I mean, it's very Rob Zombified, which is like lots of cussing. The mom's a stripper, of course, so you can see his wife's ass. You know, it's all the common Rob Zombie movie tropes, but I enjoy those tropes.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be on set all day, you should look at your hot wife.
Yeah,
I mean,
a little bit.
I get it.
But I liked it. I kind of liked how it went into Michael's childhood backstory and stuff. It was an interesting take on the whole story.
I enjoyed it.
And then they just threw a bunch of money when he didn't want to do two Adam, and he fucked it up.
I guess I'll just take acid and figure this one out. There's just a bunch of horses and people dancing.
Oh, I was just going to say the horses in number 2 is
so terrible, man.
But yeah, so that's my number one. Plus, it's a pro wrestler, even though he wasn't a pro wrestler for super long, but he is prominent in the movie.
You also use David Arquette, so we're not going to talk about
Hey, he's back, man. Nick Gage. Ask Nick Gage about him.
That's true. Yeah, because didn't David Arquette want to prove that he's a legit wrestler?
Yeah, I think he's still on the indie scene right now.
That's cool, man. Yeah. Props to him. He caught so much heat. For
Actually, there's a good documentary out there.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's a great documentary.
Arquette. So fucking good.
He's a nutbag, but it's a great documentary.
Yeah, his whole family's crazy.
Yeah.
The Arquettes are crazy in general. he's the perfect professional wrestler because he's out of his fucking mind. I want to put up the classic there. I want to put They Live up there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of an argument against it.
It was number one on my list until I found Devil's Rejects.
Oh yeah, completely understandable too.
Just because I knew They Live would make it up there eventually.
Yeah, I mean you can't talk about professional wrestlers in horror movies and not talk about They Live. I mean the movies if you didn't know who Roddy Piper was, it was still a great movie, and I just had personal investment in it as a kid because I loved Roddy Piper. So, it's not slim pickings.
No, I'm gonna make you choose between your children basically because I want to put up Devil's Rejects.
Do you really?
Yeah, and make you pick between Scream and Predator. You piece of shit.
So here's my argument, though.
And if you don't let me put that up, I'm putting up Freddy vs. Jason because I love that movie. I think Freddy vs. Jason is one of the last movies. Actually, I'd have to look up the years. I own Devil's Rejects and Freddy vs. Jason on DVD before DVDs kind of went out of style.
Yeah, me too.
And I watched both of them
endlessly.
I mean, Freddy vs. Jason's stupid, but funny and still gory and still awesome. Like, just a mindless horror movie.
It's crazy to say, but Freddy vs. Jason is better than the fucking remakes of the franchises.
It's definitely better than the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. It's probably better than the last Friday the 13th too. To be honest,
it wasn't that good, man.
I mean, it's better than a lot of the last Friday the 13th too. Jason Goes to Hell. Jason Goes to Manhattan.
Oh man, come on! Jason Goes to Manhattan is so good. When he kicks the radio, it's like, hey man.
They should have just renamed it instead of Jason in Manhattan. I get the appeal of New York, even though they didn't shoot any of the movie in New York.
None.
It should have just been Captain Jason because he's on the boat most of the time. They should have put a little sailor hat on him. It would have been awesome.
I felt so bad for that one chick who lost her glasses. That was the one that killed me because I wear glasses a lot, and she lost. I was like, oh, that's not even fair, bro. She can't defend herself. She can't see. Ugh.
You're definitely losing to that backwoods mongoloid.
Oh yeah, hands fucking down.
Oh man. Yeah. So I'm gonna throw up Devil's Rejects. Unless you want Freddy vs. Jason in there instead.
I'm gonna fight you because I feel like Devil's Rejects is a fantastic movie, but when you look at the other movies that are on here, like Scream with David Arquette's a main figure in Scream, plays a huge character in that, and it's a whole series.
Mm-hmm.
And then Freddy vs. Jason, Rey Mysterio is the only reason why Freddy was serviceable in the movie. So I think both of those movies, with terms of like who's starring in them,
both over Predator though. Huh?
I'm not even putting Predator up there.
Ah.
I pick Predator. That's
So
that's one of
you're
my
arguing
favorites.
Freddy versus Jason over Devil's Rejects right now because you still have a pick. You can go ahead and throw Scream up there in the 4th spot.
I know, but I don't want you to have Devil's Rejects.
You know what? I will concede because I put one Rob Zombie movie up already. Even though out of the 2, Devil's Rejects is by far my favorite out of the 2, but the pro wrestler is more prominent in Halloween.
Yeah.
So I will go ahead and say Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, you're wonderful.
And actually pick one of your picks because now you're probably going to pick one of mine.
Yep. That's very.
But Freddy versus Jason was my. I might have threw it out there second, depending on what your second pick was. I don't know. I kind of wanted to get that Halloween one out there because I thought that was a strong dark horse.
It really was. I'll tell you, before I give you my last pick, the way I was going to work this was I was going to throw Predator up there to throw you off because realistically, Predator should be like my 3rd or 4th pick. And I wanted to throw it up there to kind of throw you off a little bit, thinking that you would start unloading some of your like mid-card picks to try to throw a swerve.
Nah.
But then you
I
didn't.
went with my big boys.
Yeah. You play it smart no matter what. So, and you're right. For the 4th slot, I'm picking Scream. Yeah. Scream with David Arquette. It's a fantastic movie.
It's a bit of a cop-out, but he was a world champion thanks to Eric Bischoff and what's his name?
Russo.
Yeah, Vince Russo.
Vince Russo. So
the more sane of the 2 Vinces right now.
Which is insane to even think about. The guy who brought Brawl for All out on a weird backroom challenge is of more sound mind than Vince McMahon.
Than the millionaire that should be a billionaire.
So, if you want to kick off your spooky season the right way and you want to have a little bit of pro wrestling flair to it, you can check out these 4 movies according to the boys. The Halloween remake in 2007 because it stars Tyler Mane. They Live starring Roddy Piper. Freddy vs. Jason with Rey Mysterio standing in for Freddy for all of his action stunts. And Scream, the entire franchise, but the first movie is the best, starring David Arquette as Deputy Dewey.
I thought it was weird when Freddy threw a Hurricane Rana in the middle of that movie.
Yeah. It was weird. He hit that 619 out of nowhere, bro. Hey, you know what was also really crazy? When he came out, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to get you, bitch." You heard, "Booyaka, booyaka, 619."
Yeah, I didn't know they had POD on the soundtrack.
Yeah, man. Booyaka, booyaka. So, we asked you guys to send your listener questions, comments, and whatevs, and you guys sent some pretty cool ones. So, first and foremost, you guys talk about a ton of cage matches that you liked. What cage matches did you hate? So, this question came to me in an email, and I was like, that's a good one because they're right. I feel like sometimes we get too lost in the things that we really enjoy, and we only argue about the things we don't like. But if I could take a chance to say the match that I don't like, I'm going to say every Hell in a Cell match, it's in a red cage. All of them.
That's a broad brush.
There's most specifically Seth Rollins and The Fiend. I thought was one of, if not the worst matches.
One of the worst Hell in a Cell
Red
matches.
cage, red light, bad ending.
Bozo hammer.
Done.
The big goofy foam
Where
mallet.
did it come from? He didn't have a fucking
and then it
mallet.
ended with a DQ and a Hell in a Cell match.
A DQ in the Hell in a Fire. The same match that saw Mick Foley almost lose his life twice. And you're like, no, DQ. You can't do that. Yep. Seth Rollins, Fiend, Hell in a Cell, red on red, go fuck yourself.
So I had to do some research for mine because I remember the participants and I remember I was there, but I didn't remember exactly when it happened.
Was it No Mercy in 2005?
No Way Out. Yes. I think it's the Big Show versus JBL in Pittsburgh.
Yup, that's it. So I was there too.
One of the worst. It went like 22 minutes, and the whole marketing behind it was, there's no way out. And it's a barbed wire top of the cage, blah, blah, blah. And then you put your 2 biggest clunkers in the match against each other. So it's Big Show versus JBL, both giant guys. They're not climbing over shit. And then it just ends with Big Show walking out the door. So the barbed wire never came into play. And I had to sit there I couldn't even drink yet. I was only 19, I think, at the time. And not a shock that's the last WWE pay-per-view I ever attended. And I probably won't ever attend another one unless we do really good on this podcast and we can go to a Rumble. I would love to go to a Royal Rumble
fun.
live.
Yeah.
But that's really like the only WWE pay-per-view I'd be like dying to get into. Maybe a Mania. I wouldn't turn down Mania.
Wasn't there another match in there too where someone got thrown through the cage? Like they couldn't get out. Wasn't it like Stone Cold got thrown through a cage?
Oh yeah, I think that might have been Big Show's debut, and he threw Stone Cold through a cage and he won. And then there was that Roman Reigns Lesnar match where they went through the cage. My honorable mention though is I think there were two of them, both Punjabi prison matches, which were technically a steel cage match. Both sucked because Great Khali is garbage bag.
He's awful.
Yeah.
Do you see the Great Khali, by the way, came out and was like, look at my incredible weight cut and how great I look. I was like, dude, your neck got skinny.
I mean, in all fairness, he was holding about 20 extra pounds up there.
He really was. Fucking, what's that? Easter Island.
Yeah, he's Easter Island.
Jesus.
All the way.
So someone narked me on the next one here. Inside information, Matt lied because he drinks pumpkin spice lattes. I've seen it. This isn't even a question. This is you being a dick.
Yeah, I've seen it too. He loves those things.
Yeah, I do. I mean,
he turns completely into a Becky around this time of year.
Yeah. Yep. I think at one point I called myself the Queen of Halloween. I'll wear that. I wear it.
You got to get you a little crown.
Oh, I
or a little
that.
Tiara, I guess it would be.
If it had jack-o'-lanterns on it, I'm gonna wear it.
We'll look it up.
Yeah. I mean, let's get honest with each other. If I'm looking, here's what happens. Here's my justification for it. If it's been a long morning and I haven't eaten breakfast, I need calories to kind of get the engine.
A little bit of sugar, yeah.
I grab one of those pumpkin spice lattes. They're also just so happen to be delicious. So I just combine the two. It's delicious, and I need the calories.
I mean, out of all things pumpkin spice, it's probably the least offensive in my book too.
Well, because
I don't enjoy them very much, but I'd rather have that than like just a pumpkin spice like black coffee because I usually take my coffee black.
Yeah.
It does need the cream and sugar and the
yeah
whatever makes it a latte.
I have no
does make it more enjoyable.
Well, here's the thing though too, man. Pumpkin spice lattes have like the whole thing with Starbucks. If you go to like local places and the way they do it,
oh yeah,
it's much better.
More coffee flavor.
Yeah, so much better. And I should say that's how I like it. I like a very dark roast coffee, and I like to have the stuff added into the dark roast coffee because I want the roastiness of coffee.
Now we're talking
with the spices and everything of the pumpkin spice. So yeah, you've seen it. Okay, thanks. Catch me at Black Forge Coffee.
He's got feelings.
I got feelings. You should stop.
Wait, does Black Forge have one?
If they don't, they better.
I'd actually try theirs if they do.
Definitely would. Dump some CBD in there too for you while you're at it.
Yeah.
So Adam, this one is more for you. So Adam, if you could collab with any brewery, who would it be, and what beer would you want to make?
So I would like some specifics because this was really hard for me to do. So I'll let you do it since I can't talk to the listener right now.
Okay.
So when they say, if I'm brewing at a brewery, am I brewing their beer or is it a beer of mine I want to brew at that brewery?
I think it's any brewery you want to choose, and it's a beer you guys come up with together.
Okay.
So like, like Abjuration kills sours. So if you want to collab with them, it'd probably be like a sour.
Okay.
Something like that.
Fair enough. So still can't slim it down to just one pick. So I'll go with one national pick. I mean, of course I'd go international and brew up shit. That would be here all night.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping it in the U.S. I'm keeping it within our country's borders. And I'm going to my favorite brewery, Burial. Dogfish is appealing, and stuff like Sierra Nevada and Lagunitas and Stone, all appealing. But Burial, I just love their stuff, and they're still craft. So as a dream, it would be Burial. And my favorite from them is a beer called Tearing the Flesh from Bone, which was a New England IPA. So I would like to do either a West Coast or a New England with them would be really freaking cool. And then as far as locally, it's a little tough because, humble brag, we've gotten to brew with a couple.
Daddy Bashline's industry now. He's actually been in some breweries now.
We've got to brew with some good friends of the podcast like Couch, Abjuration, Fury, and recently
like Necromancer and like
no, not yet.
Collab coming out soon.
Hold on my list. No, I was gonna say recently I got to brew one of my favorite beers from the area. I got to help our friend Bobby Nacho out at Full Pint and help him brew Chinook one day. So that
way.
So that was really cool a few weeks ago.
That's really cool, man.
So like things like that are kind of already happening. So I picked some longer shots of some breweries I don't know as well and don't have they don't ask me for help. Because I'm not saying they go there and ask for my ideas. I just go there and help them produce the recipe they already have, But it's still an honor. I still love doing it, and I'll do it every time these guys ask and I have time. But I got 3 locally because it's 3 different styles I would really like to do too. So Necromancer is one of them that you brought up, and I'd love to brew an ESB with them because they do a wonderful ESB. Them and Abjuration both do wonderful ESBs in this area, and I've never brewed one, and I'd like to learn.
Also, real quick too, shout out to an ESB out leaning cast. That ESB is that's a good ESB.
I gotta get out there.
Really good. Sorry, don't.
No. I'm glad to hear where other ones are at. The next is one you'll like, Hitchhiker. I want to go. I don't even care about style. I want to go brew triple shakes.
Hell yeah, dude! Can you invite me on that one?
I'd love to do that. And then my third one is Grist House, and I'd like to do a hazy with them as well because they do. Yeah. The example I've done is Maximum Power, which is my favorite hazy from them.
Maximum Power is the shit.
So those are 3 Necromancer, newer and bigger, and then 2 really big ones in the city that don't need my help, Hitchhiker and Grist. And then, of course, I'm honored and just got contacted today from Penn Brewing. And it looks like we'll be doing one there in October. So I couldn't put them on the list because we're already doing one.
Already happening because it is September 16th and Adam Bashline is still a champion.
Yeah. So it looks like the brew day will be sometime in October. So we'll talk about it on here. We'll put it on the socials. So probably sometime in November, December, it'll hit the taps. And
can we have a can release party?
Oh, we're just gonna have an informal one at the brewery. Yeah.
Oh,
it's not can. It's just gonna be on draft. So we got to show up to the brewery. Yeah.
So we should definitely do a podcast there.
I'll give you some names and numbers. I'll let you work that out. I'm already pushing my buttons.
I like organizing stuff. So Adam, because you are just right now, you're like the young bucks. You're kind of killing the game right now. And people are thirsty for your brews. So can you tell them what's on tap and where you can find us?
Not a lot.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. Jojitorium is still on tap. We have a little bit of it left. And then we have a little bit of apple fritter left because after Barrel and Flow, I tapped that immediately and got rid of one of the keg we're not taking to Homebrew and Chill was almost gone already. But that one will be at Homebrew and Chill and then be on tap here if there's any left. And then same with the Smoked Poblano Pale Ale. That keg's promised to Homebrew and Chill, but if there's any left, I'll have it here for sampling and bottles. And then coming up, we have to see if this festival happens in October. I'll email my contacts this week, and we'll let you guys know in the next episode. But that'll be October 16th in the Oakmont area. Wonderful. So just keep it on your calendars. I heard about it this summer, and I haven't heard much about it in the last couple months. I want to make sure they still have spots. If they do, we will be there. Yeah. And then Drink the Cookie Table on November 6th that we mentioned at the top of the podcast. Get your tickets now. Yeah. And everybody, if you're wondering and you're in the Greensburg area, buy some tickets. Come on down to Homebrew and Chill. If they're not sold out, they will sell them at the door. But I think they're a little more expensive at the door, so go ahead and get them online. It'll just give you an e-ticket to get into the festival.
And it's a great festival, too. I've gone to it now 2 years in a row, or two events in a row, because they didn't have it due to the thing we can't talk about. Mm-hmm. So these things are popping off, and most of them are outside. Just remember, be safe. Take care of yourselves. Don't show up and think you got to go crazy here. Just have a fun time.
Right.
We're there to have a good time.
Yeah, and I do want to announce now, we are definitely for the Drink the Cookie Table event doing the Shat-Faced Pumpkin Roll Stout. And one other, both beers will be available both sessions, so don't get discouraged on what session you're going to. We'll have 2 identical beers at both sessions, and one of them will be the Pumpkin Roll Stout. And the other one will not be a stout, but I don't know what beer it'll be yet.
If you haven't had the Shat-Faced Pumpkin Roll Stout, you need to get your hands on it because it's a banger, man. There are people from, I think I've actually heard other brewers from like established brewers are like, this is the only pumpkin beer I want to drink.
Yeah, and then that rolls us right into stout and porter season from there. So a lot of dark beers, a lot of holiday beers will be coming once we get into November.
Absolutely. And if you want to find out what's happening with Adam, all you have to do is follow him at Bash_Brew on all social media. It's Facebook and Instagram, and I still push him to get a Twitter. Don't forget to follow him on Untapped. And if you want to find out what's happening with the boys, all you have to do is follow us at DecayingWTB on all social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And keep sending in your listener questions, comments, and whatevs to decayingwtb@gmail.com. So, from where we are in the Jojitorium to where you are listening to the podcast, until next time, cheers.
Cheers.